Okay, so I just got done watching Time Cuts, a brand new Netflix exclusive slasher film that came out last month. And this was a film that went right under my radar. There was no word of mouth about this film. There was no early reviews to come out. Not a whole lot of people were talking about it upon release. Like I heard a thing or two here and there, but this wasn't like a massive highlight topic for the horror community. This was a film that just kind of came and went. And as I'm recording this video right now, there is literally no one talking about this movie except for me. But I was curious to check this out for a couple of reasons. One, this being a slasher film, I am a slasher whore. I am a slasher fanatic through and through. You can give me the worst of the worst slasher films, and I will always watch it. And in that case, you can give me any slasher film, and I will always watch it. I love slasher movies. So when I hear that there is a new one out, I will be there day one watching it, especially in 2024 where I feel like the slasher genre, is almost a dead genre. Like there's a lot of slasher films that are going straight to video, such as this one, but we don't get really any big slasher releases. Like the last one that we had was Scream 6. And there is going to be a Scream 7, and I'm sure that they will continue on with that franchise. But really, that's like the only franchise that is ongoing, that has like a big theatrical release. But as far as theatrical releases for slashers, like we never get that anymore. We never get that theater going experience. We never get that big screen experience for a slasher film anymore. Like they're all going to Amazon Prime and Netflix and Stan and Hulu and they're like Apple, the Apple Store, and they're all going to VOD. And it's just like it's very disappointing to see that. Like it's all possession and haunted house and a ghost, and that just seems to be the thing. That just seems to be the attraction at the moment for people. So I was excited for that. For one, that this is a new slasher film and it's coming out by Netflix, which brings me on to my second reason here, which is this is a Netflix exclusive, which Netflix is very hit or miss when it comes to their horror content. You can sometimes get a hit and it's going to be a big success, a great response, great reviews, or you could be on the other side of the spectrum here where it's complete shit to not very good. So you never really know what you're going to get with Netflix. Like, they've done some great stuff. They did The Ritual, which is still one of my favorite films to come out in recent memory. And that was a Netflix exclusive. So, Netflix can do great horror content, but I feel like they've really dropped in the last year or two. Like they haven't come out with very good stuff. There is a movie on Netflix at the moment that I do want to watch that's produced by Sam Raimi, which is Don't Move, which that is also on my list of films I do want to watch before the end of the year, and I will more than likely do a review for that one as well. So yeah, we'll see how we go with Don't Move. From what I've heard, that one's actually pretty good. So I'm holding out hope for that one, especially with someone like Sam Raimi attached to it. I'm hoping that there's more merit to a project like that. But now, jumping into what the story of this film is, of Time Cuts, is we follow our main character, Lucy, who is in present day in, what was it, 2024, 23? I'm pretty sure it's 2024. And she lives a very boring life. Her sister died back in 2003, and so everybody in this town is still healing. They're still grieving over those murders, because in present day the killer has not been found out yet, and so it's this looming threat over this town of, like, is he going to come back? And in this reality, her sister is dead, and so she decides to time travel back to July 16th of 2004, where her sister is still alive, where the town is at its peak, the town's happy, it's bright, vibrant colors, very 2000s clothing. So yeah, she travels back. She travels back in time to make a brighter future for herself, where her sister is still alive. And so that's the basics of time cuts. So now, getting into my positives for time cuts, I'd say that the performances here, I'd say that they're all passable. I wouldn't say anyone's particularly bad, but I wouldn't say anyone's good in the movie either. I'd say all the performances are, are pretty basic in this film, but they do a convincing enough job. As far as how they go with the emotional aspects, with their characters, with the chase sequences and all that, I'd say that it's not bad, it's not good. Second positive is the time travel idea. Even though this isn't unique, and a lot of slash films are now doing this, like we had Blumhouse's Totally Killer that came out a couple of years ago, which follows the exact same story, and that film actually had a lot of charm to it. There was a lot of fun. There was a lot of energy and charisma, to that film. Like the killer was interesting. The idea and the story, was very, it was very interesting. It was something, it was something different compared to our run of the mill slasher films. This film does a very similar story to it, and I'd say that it's utilized okay here. Like, the film doesn't do anything different or anything state of the art to really change the slasher genre. But I thought that this was a cool enough concept to see the past and the present, and kind of talk through the ideas of, like, going back to the past and how that could affect the future. I thought the dialogue was interesting when they were talking about time travel, but as far as the actual idea and how they execute it in the film, I can't say I was particularly on board with it. So I guess mixed positive there. And now, moving on to the negatives for this film, the kills. How come we are back in this stage now where we are making very PG-13, very mature, like almost kid-friendly slasher films? Like, there's not a single drop of blood in this film. Okay, first things first here. If you are to make a slasher film, like, it's literally in the title, slasher. People are going there to see a killer fuck people up. You want to see that shit. You don't get any of that in here. Like, there's one kill in particular that I think would have made an amazing practical effect. I think it would have been a great on-screen kill. But right before it gets that money shot, it cuts away. You don't see, like, you see all the aftermath blood, and it looks shit. It's all CGI. It does not look good. But there's one kill that takes place on on an escalator, and it's the coolest kill in the film. The fact that they did not push that scene to being an R-rated is incredible to me. Like, I understand you want to make this for a broad audience. You want to bring, teenagers in. This is a teenage slasher film first and foremost. I understand that. But downgrading the kills to no gore, I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose. Like, if you don't have a good story and you don't have good characters surrounding a story, you should at least deliver in the kills department. And this film doesn't even do that. And I'm just sick of these watered down slasher films where, like, slashers, they used to be raw, they used to be, very graphic. All the kills used to be on screen. That used to be like something all of us fans used to go to a slasher film, expecting. That used to be an expectation. Now it's like we watch a slash film expecting the kills to be off screen. Like, as soon as you see that PG-13 rating, you can basically fuck off, because that there's not going to be any gore in it. So really, what's the purpose on watching it? So that was a letdown in here. And now the characters, there's characterization in this film for sure, but I didn't care. None of the characters I really gripped onto. Understand, like, this is the kind of film that's more like finding out who this character is. So it's not really a film that's really so much based on the characterization, rather than it is this character exploring herself, and you're kind of going on that arc and that journey with her. That's kind of what this film is. But when she did go back in 2004 and met her sister, I did not care. Like, that might come back to their performances as well. But I didn't really find the chemistry to be all that good. Between them. I found the slasher killer very lame. It's a very basic outfit, very basic mask, very kind of run-of-the-mill traditional slasher trope. What else? Oh yeah, the reveal in this movie. The reveal, yes, okay. I'm not going to get into spoilers. Here, but this reveal, like, can we just stop? Can we just stop with, like, with this traditional, like, motivation for the killer? Like, seems like every killer in slasher films now, in every teenage slasher, it's always like, oh, you bullied me when I was in high school, and now this is my revenge. We've seen that motivation. Like, okay, I like a good kill motivation just as much as the next person, but this shit is ridiculous. Like, we've seen this motivation. Like, you were bullied. Who gives a fuck? Do something different with a motivation. Like, fuck, maybe your best friend, fuck somebody else. Like, just anything. besides this traditional, bullying motivation. I am just sick of it. Because it's in every goddamn slasher film. Like, and I understand that's something that, that audiences respond to. And I understand it has to be something that's personal to the killer. But can we have, something else? Like, maybe your dad had an affair, just anything but this bullying storyline and this whole like rejection of love. Like every motivation now in slasher films has to fall under like two categories here. Bullying, you know, you fell in love with the wrong person, that it wasn't me. Like it's the same shit. Okay, now putting all that aside, putting the explanation of it aside, how is the reveal as a standalone? The reveal, it's it's clever, it's unexpected to a degree. Like it does make for an interesting future, I guess. Like I would like to see a sequel as to where things would turn out, whether it would turn out exactly like how things are now in 2024. So, I would like to see that. And then on top of that, this time machine stuff, like I'm probably overthinking this, but I think this needs a logical explanation to me. Like let me know if I'm being too harsh on this, but I don't think I'm dope. But we don't really know too much about the killer's, I guess, home life. And somehow he has access to this $1 billion fucking technology. He has access to this like highly secure building that just so happens to have, fucking time machine shit. First question, how the fuck did he get in there? Does his father work there? Does his mom work there? Does his sister work there? Like, what is the explanation for how he actually got in here? Like, there's a scene at the end where we do see inside this building, and we do see that, that the killer's been there, that he has stabbed everybody to death. But at least from what I could see on this building, every single door needed a lock. It's not like this guy has fucking superhero strength and he could just punch down a door. Like, unless the door was open when he got there, there's no explanation for that. There's no explanation. So there's a lot of disbelief in how he actually snuck this out. Like, a building like this would have cameras, circling all around it. So the fact that they did not pick him up, the fact that there is no investigation, on him, like I think that would have made for a really interesting subplot in this film of, of kind of like pointing fingers at the past version of this particular person. And kind of, and blaming him and him being like, I don't know what's going on. I didn't do this. And I think that would have made for a very interesting conflict. I think it would have made for like a very interesting dynamic, between this character and our main character. And so, I think that's something that would have been cool. But yeah, the fact that he snuck in there and got out without being seen by cameras, and then the fact that he got in, like I highly doubt that a building like this secure, that has a fence around it, and it's locked. The fact that he got in there, it's, if there's an explanation in the movie, I am willing to hear you out. I'm willing to give the movie a rewatch if that's explained. But and the fact that he just builds it in this shed that, I wouldn't say it's particularly closed off. At least in 2024, like this, it's like this shed house, like, it's fully open to the public. It's not like he has put up a fence, saying like, do not enter. Like this thing is, this thing is wide open. So anyone can go in there at any point. Just the fact, that he builds a time machine and no one questions like anything. Like there is kind of an explanation where he said that, where he can just kind of morph through time. Bullshit. Like there is so much disbelief for this character and for who the eventual killer is. Like, one, he is, I can't, he's not very good at hunting, for one. And now I want to come back to our characters for a second. I understand this is a trope that us slasher fans love, but I'm getting sick of it. Where whenever the killer is chasing after our dumbass side character who is getting killed, like our nobody, and she just falls over. She falls over fucking thin air. This is a trope just so we can have a kill, but then the downside is we don't even have any kill. There are no kills in this fucking movie because everything is off screen. This is just infuriating to me that this is the most run-of-the-mill fucking traditional slasher film. Like, there is nothing new. There is nothing different that this film doesn't offer. I think this film really just got on my nerves, and like the whole high school drama thing, like, sure, that makes for an interesting story if done right. It is not done right in here. I just got sick of these characters fucking yelling at each other and fucking whining and being like, oh, can I talk to you? I'm scared. I'm sick of this high school drama bullshit. I like in slashers. I do. But this film, every character just feels like they're at their peak on everybody's back. Like there's some kind of a breakup going down. I don't give a fuck. You spend 5 minutes with that storyline. There is nothing else there. You have this high school drama that goes nowhere in the film. And it's all introduced in the first act, and they never bring it up ever again. And just everybody's blaming each other, and it's fucking ugh. Like, I understand that is high school. That is high school 100%. Everybody's on everybody's back, being like, like, I really like this girl, but this other guy wants to ask him out, or she's already dating someone, or like, I get that's high school. But can we just stop that with slashers? Like, if you want to do it, make an interesting story surrounding it. And there's this storyline with a professor that went absolutely nowhere. And then the ending of the film also brings up a lot of questions. Like, you know what? Yeah, fuck it. I'm going to spoil this ending. This ending has to be spoiled because this... Okay, I understand story-wise why this is the ending that you want to leave off, but you also have to answer some other questions here as well. So, our main character Lucy decides to stick back in 2004. So apparently this is her new future now. Okay, great. Really good ending there. I actually don't mind that. But what pisses me off is in 2024, her parents are not concerned about her at all. Like there's no like hyperventilating, like, oh, where's my daughter? Fuck, call the police. I have to stop doing that voice. The fact that they aren't worried, and the fact that she doesn't care about her parents, like her character just comes across as being selfish by the end. Like, I understand her family life wasn't the greatest, but family is family. Like, fuck, move on with it. Like, there's people out there that have a lot tougher life than you, so you can suck it up. Like, yeah, this main character just got on my nerves. Yeah, just got on my nerves. And she doesn't like her parents because they won't let her go to this NASA internship. Like, I'm sure over time you can plan that shit. Like, I'm sure you can sit down with them and be like, okay, I'm going to stay at this hotel. I'm going to book this flight. The fact that that's kind of why she doesn't like her parents is just a lame excuse. And I understand her school life wasn't the greatest either. I understand her town was kind of down in the dumps, but the fact that you just forget about your mum and dad is ridiculous to me. It makes you an unlikable character. Like, I see why they did the ending, is because that was kind of the ending that they were going to build to, is because now she's in a reality that she actually wants to be in. She feels like she is someone. She feels like she belongs. Like, I understand all that, but it's just, it's these small things that I think really make a difference in a story. And yeah, this film this film just didn't really do anything for me. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's my review for Time Cuts. Like, I've said what I wanted to say about this movie. Watch Totally Killer though. Watch Totally Killer. That is a much better like time traveling slasher. So if you're looking for a film like Time Cuts, Totally Killer is a 10 out of 10. It's like a masterpiece compared to this garbage. So, anyways, guys, let me know down in the comments, what did you think of Time Cuts? And I'm out. I never have to think about this shit again.